please rise. Start with the salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence in honor of our troops, our police, our first responders, and our neighbors, West Milford, who just went through a very tragic time, and all the people that helped with that. Thank you. I'm just going to stay up because the screen is here. So, Karen, can I have the sunshine notice, please?
Your speakers, are they on? Two buttons, okay.
It's 2 buttons.
In compliance with provisions of New Jersey of 1975, adequate notice of this meeting was given by publishing a notice in the December 2022 edition of the Trends. This notice was also placed on the Kinnelon Boro website and sent to the Star Ledger, North Jersey Herald News, the Record, and posted on municipal bulletin board.
Thank you, Karen. Can I have the roll call, please?
Councilman Yago?
Here.
Councilman Harris?
Here.
Councilman Navy?
Here.
Councilman Russo?
Here.
Councilman Charles?
Here.
Councilman Churchill?
Here.
Okay. Tonight we're honoring a Kinnelon resident. Is Kayla Vasquez here? There you are. Stand up. Let's see. All right, we're all going to honor you now. Just want to come down. This record chair. Come on up, guys. Nervous? Oh, come on. It had to be, can't be any worse than standing on that podium in Atlantic City, right? When you slide over here, I'll go to your right. As you all know, well, let Sean tell a story, because Sean was a wrestler himself, and I know he's very proud of Kayla, so I wanted him to kind of tell the story.
I'm going to read a little biography of Kayla's ascension to where she's gotten to, and this comes from her dad. Kayla Vasquez began wrestling at age 8, accidentally, really, and against her mother's wishes. She lost every match that first year, except the last in which she won by a pin. Her coach, Sean Mabey, had given her a pin as a trophy for her victory. What we used to get when I wrestled was every time you got a pin for your lapels when you ran out. So when you came to wrestle matches and you saw somebody with pins all the way up and down their sleeve, you'd say, ooh. So I thought it would be like a really fun, inspirational thing to bring to the rec program. So that's kind of where it stems from. That win and that momentum given to her by Sean was really all she needed to continue on with the sport. Fast forward to the current year. Kayla's accomplishments were Bloomfield Girls Tournament Champion, BCWCA Tournament Champion, NJAC Tournament Champion, North Region Champion, NJ Athletic Conference Female Wrestler of the Year, NJ Athletics Conference, second team all-conference in the boys division, NJ ISIAA 132-pound state champion. She is the #1 wrestler in the entire state of New Jersey in her weight class. Record 18-0, only 4 points surrendered all season, which anybody who wrestled understands what a big deal that is. Kayla gives back to the sport by helping coach her younger siblings and people in the recreation and helping out with the recreation program as a whole. Her goal is to win the state title again next year at Kinnelon High School and wrestle in college at the Division I level while pursuing studies in the medical field. So Kayla is not only an exceptional student, she's an exceptional athlete, and she is an exceptional Kinnelon resident. And that is why I felt so strongly, and the mayor and everybody, honoring her. We have Senator Anthony Bucco, Assemblyman Chris Barranco, Assemblywoman Ora Dunn, I think is on her way, but they're here to honor Kayla with an honor from Trenton.
State House.
From the State House.
much, Sean. Kayla, I just listened to that, your career here, and it's just beginning. You are the real deal. You are the real deal.
Yes, she is.
You know, in just about every other sport, right? If you get tired or you don't feel like going into for the next play, you can raise your hand and tell the coach, hey, coach, don't put me in yet. I need to take a breath. Or, hey, coach, pull me out of the football game or the basketball game or the lacrosse game. Well, let me tell you something about wrestling, and this is why I have the utmost respect for wrestlers. It is just you on that mat with your opponent. You can't raise your hand halfway through and say, hey, I need a breather. You can't crawl to the side and say, hey, coach, can you take me out for a couple seconds? You got to tough it out. And when I looked at your record for this year, you toughed it out in 18 matches, and you didn't lose one match. 18-0, perfect record. That's why I say you're the real deal. The second woman in Morris County's history to reach the championship level. And something tells me that this is not over for you yet. And I look forward to being back here again to recognize you when you achieve other great things, not only in athletics, but academically as well. So good luck to you. God bless you. And I know you have a bright future ahead of you.
Okay, so as Senator Bucco likes to say, this is a resolution that came out of both houses of the legislature, and this document is very, very important. And the reason it's important is because they actually got all 120 of us to approve this. That's a big deal down in Trenton. So Assemblyman Dunn's here now. I'm just going to share a couple of notes here, a couple of things that are notable for Kayla. So whereas a junior and three-time individual state medalist, placing third in the 120-pound class in 2021 and third again in 126 in 2022, Kayla Vasquez's victory capped off her stellar 18-0 season, as the senator mentioned, at Kinnelon High School, and made her only the second Morris County female in history to capture a first-place state wrestling title. Whereas it is altogether proper and fitting for this legislature to acknowledge Kayla Vasquez and to praise her as an individual of strong character and uncommon determination, now therefore be it resolved by the Senate and General Assembly of the State of New Jersey that this legislature hereby commends Kayla Vasquez, pays tribute to her remarkable efforts and steadfast commitment to wrestling, and extends sincere best wishes for continued success in all of her future endeavors.
Amen.
Kayla, I made it just in time. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm Assemblywoman Ora Dunn, and it is just an absolute honor to be here to celebrate you, to congratulate you for this amazing accomplishment. As I was driving here, obviously stuck in some traffic, put a lot of thought into Title IX. I was just really little when it was passed, and never could imagine what I could achieve in sports. But to think that we have a state champion in girls wrestling, it's just amazing. So you are really blazing trails, and congratulations. Soak it all in. I know you are. I know you work hard, that's without a doubt. But make sure to take care of yourself along the way, and we look forward to your future successes. Go, Kayla.
There's one little thing I'd like to say, because my running mate, or Assemblyman Dunn, is very conscious of women's rights, especially in athletics. And you said something a minute ago that I think needs noting. She's not only the 132-pound champion of girls wrestling, she's the champion bar none. She beat boys and girls to be the state champ at 132. So that is a big deal.
It is a big deal.
All right, get in here. Everybody get in here. Mayor, come on,
Yeah,
get in
we'll
here.
take a picture.
Get in here. Come on. Get out. Oh, man, my arm got a really big one. You ready?
And
There you go.
high. No, do we need a little bit higher? Like that. There we go.
There you go. How's that better? Yeah, love it.
All right.
That's going viral.
And is that your little brother?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, our pleasure, guys. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Senator, always a pleasure. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, it's tonight.
You made it, though.
did.
Boro, who came from Chester, thank you for
Yes.
taking the hour ride.
Well, first, I'm gonna give Kayla flowers. What happened was, these were supposed to be here earlier, and I panicked. And April, my good friend, ran out and got another, so you have 2 sets of flowers, because I was not gonna not have flowers. So. And now the mayor has something.
We're not done yet. We're not done yet. Put these down. Put all this good stuff down and see what's going on. Now you have me. You know, so the council was talking about how we can really make you feel, just know how great this feat is. And I think one of the greatest feats, was everyone mentions, is the stigmas that you've now abolished in wrestling. Now, women can do this, and I think that is amazing, especially in our town, Kinnelon, little Kinnelon, we have a state championship wrestler. So we're all saying, what could we do? And what we decided was, we have a plaque out in our lobby here, and it's Kinnelon Borough recognized persons of distinguished courage, ability, and admired for brave deeds and noble qualities. You are now on that plaque that sits out in our lobby as a Kinnelon hometown hero. So with that being said, you can't take that home. So, the council finally opened up their pocketbooks a little bit, and we got you this. And it's congratulations on your outstanding achievement, Kayla Vasquez, the 2023 NJSIAA Girls Wrestling 132 pounds state champion. And then lastly, I'm just trying to see what your brother is going to tell old people who come over your house about, you know, have fun on your date. Remember, my sister's a state championship wrestler. You know, so he's going to have to remember to say that.
Her brother's got to remember my quick check coffee, too.
Yeah. But congratulations. Thank you for, I'll say it, thank you for going to Kinnelon High School. You make us all proud up here on behalf of myself and this amazing council. Thank you. Now you can sit down, right? Although we're doing our budget presentation, it's very exciting. You might want to stick around. You might want to run.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, we'll leave this for you. Hey, a little help, all right? Very nice. All right. It's this screen, so I asked the council just to come over here so we can get in the picture. Can you get all them in the back? Can you see them?
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you, Kayla.
Join us, Kinnelon, all right? Coffee. Black, large, no milk, no sugar. Thank you.
See what he said? He said, be quiet, my sister's a state championship wrestler. All right, tonight we have Charlie Daniel, our CFO. We're going to be doing a presentation on our budget. We all have it in front of us, so excuse me while I sit down behind the screen, but Charlie will do the presentation and it will be live on Facebook as well. Just make sure you zoom in on that, not Charlie.
Not me.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. First, let me talk about the process, the municipal budget process. The way I look at it is there's 3 phases. There's the preliminary phase, and that's where I work with my finance committee to come up with a budget that we believe is a good, solid budget, strong budget, and that the council will also agree with that. And that took place over the past 2 months. I worked with the finance committee, and then last week at our workshop session, we walked through the budget, we discussed it, and pretty much what you're seeing tonight is exactly what we discussed last week. So tonight is an introduction, and what happens at an introduction is the budget is revealed to the public, okay? The budget document will be put up on the website so that you can view it. It'll be up by Monday morning. In terms of questions about the budget, the third, okay, so tonight's the introduction, the second phase. The third phase is budget adoption. And at budget adoption, there is a public hearing for the public to make comments. And that's where the public, after they have seen the budget, reviewed the budget, they can start asking questions before the borough adopts it. If there are certain things that we want to change, we could possibly change it. Or if there's a lot that needs to change, then we may have to delay the adoption of the budget. So with that said, let's move right into the budget. I have to state that I've been here for 6 years, and this budget was somewhat difficult this year. So before I go any further in talking about the actual budget itself, I wanted to show you where your total tax bill that you receive from the municipality, from Kinnelon, how it's divided up. And it's not real clear. Let me see if I can get that a little bit clearer. All right, so your taxes, what the municipality bills you and you pay on a quarterly basis is divided up into four different, I'll call them little businesses or different areas of the government. First, your biggest is the school. All right, so for a average household in Kinnelon, which the average household this year is $577,728, the school takes almost 70% of that, so 69% of it. The county takes $1,558 or 20% of it. I'm sorry, 10% of it. The library takes 1%, and the municipality takes approximately 20%. So you can see where, I get a number of residents coming in and saying, my taxes are so high, why, why? And they believe it's the whole problem is the municipal government, but you can see from here that it isn't. There's four pieces to it: the school, the municipal government, the county, and the library. So it is divided up into four pieces: the school being the 69%, local taxes being 20%, county being 10%, and the library being 1%. All right. This year, again, I mentioned the average household of 500 is worth $577,000. The local tax increase will be, and before I even say a number, let me say that these numbers, I have to base these numbers on some estimates. I have to base it on the school because I don't have a true school figure yet on how much their budget is going to increase. I don't have a county. I hear that the county is going to stay the same. However, until I have a firm grasp of that, I took the school and I raised it 2%, and I took the county and I raised that 2%. All right. Based on that, I do, and let me say that I do know what the library is. The library funding from municipal taxes is dictated by the state. So we have no say in that. We get the number and we have to pay it. All right. Based on that, our primary, so the local tax increase is $16.42 per month, which comes out to $197 per year. So just below $200 per year. The primary factor, and I'm going to go into this a lot more, is garbage. Okay, garbage and recycling. Garbage and recycling went up this year $700,000. All right, and I got to tell you, this is across the board in New Jersey. We went out to bid. Our garbage contract was up at the end of last year. We went out to bid very early in the year. We got one bid. All right, it was the same contractor that has serviced us for the past 3 years. We got one bid. That's a problem because where's the competition? There are laws in the state of New Jersey that specifically for trash hauling, for garbage pickup, recycling, that try to eliminate this idea of contractors owning a region. They put these laws in place, but I kind of think maybe they're not effective because we only got one bid. The increase in your taxes, 2/3 of that increase is due to garbage recycling, the increase right there. Other increases, health insurance. We are on the state health benefits plan. That has gone up 22%. It'll impact the town $152,000. What's interesting about the state health benefits plan is that is for state employees, county employees, municipal employees. The state worked out a deal with state employees. The state employees only got a 3% health insurance increase. Municipalities got 22%. I can't figure it out. It's a mystery. All I know is there have been organizations trying to fight that. New Jersey League of Municipalities being the #1, and they haven't been able to do anything about it. So our health insurance went up 22%. Pension payments to the state went up 5%. That's public employees as well as police. Utilities went up 12%. Primarily gas and electric went up for us 12%. All right, other factors include salary. I'm looking at an increase right around 3 to 3.5%. The police were 3.5%. The non-police are 3%. Other expenses went up about 2%. Our debt service has increased. We've been doing a lot of capital projects going into debt. When you borrow more money, of course, you got to pay it back eventually, and our debt service went up by about 7.5%. All right, so let's talk trash. I've never seen anything like this before. This has, like I said, this has impacted the whole state. I know that myself, the mayor, Councilman Navy, we've attended webinars on this. One of the reasons why recycling has gone through the roof is because we're no longer sending a lot of our recyclables. China is no longer accepting the recyclables. The value of plastic has plummeted, so trash hauling companies, recycling companies aren't making anything. It's a problem. So let me go into a little bit more detail. So we tried to look at how can we resolve this issue of a 90% increase in garbage and recycling. And so I turned to some other CFOs, administrators, and mayors, and I talked to them. And here's two scenarios that I've heard, but they don't alleviate the issue. One is, we'll stop. The municipality will no longer pay for your garbage. You're going to have to go out and hire a contractor yourself, work out a deal with them to get garbage and recycling picked up.
Just kidding, just kidding.
So I live in a town in Hunterdon County where we do that. What's really interesting is the biggest complaint I get in my town is, why do we have 6 different waste trash haulers coming into town every day, and the noise of the trucks every day at 5:30 in the morning coming down our road. Well, it's because you got to hire one, and your neighbor hired somebody else, and your neighbor, on the other side of you, they hired somebody else. All right, so Kinnelon residents right now pay approximately $35 per month for a twice-a-week pickup of garbage and a once-a-week recycling pickup. What I can tell you is, I talk to my neighbors, and I know from my own personal experience, I'm paying $75 per month for a once-a-week garbage pickup and every 2 weeks recycling pickup. My neighbor's paying a little less. I just found that out recently, so I know I got to switch over. So what's the result? If we privatize it such that you had to go out and get your own, you're going to be paying almost double. All right, so it's not, that to me is not an alternative. You're doing better as you are right now. All right, another scenario, and I love this one. In the town I work in, or I live in, there was a budget meeting. Budget was introduced, and I came out and I saw laying on the counter the local paper. And the local paper said, Mayor of such and such town keeps taxes flat. And I'm thinking, how in the world did that mayor do that, knowing that garbage has gone up so high? Well, I found out. The mayor took the garbage utility, I'm sorry.
Make sure that was.
Yeah. You can hear, oh my goodness.
I don't want people thinking we're privatizing garbage.
All right. Is this too loud, or can you good?
All right, okay.
All right. So what the mayor did was took garbage out of what's called current fund, took it out of your municipal tax base and made it a utility. Now, some of you here might have sewer utility, water utility. What do? You get a separate bill. Others in town don't have either, they don't get a separate bill. All right, so what the mayor did was take it out of the tax base. But it's still, oh boy, I'm really being wired here.
Just push the bottom button, get rid of the handle.
Yeah. So by taking it out of the tax base, sure, when over 2/3 of a tax increase is in your tax base, if you take it out, you just eliminated 2/3. But what did you do? You shifted it over to the side. Now you got a bill, separate bill. You have to send postage out for that billing. You've got to hire someone to keep track of that. It's no longer, it's almost like you need a separate department for utility. All right, we're small, we don't need that, but I would need another person here to just keep track of the utility because of 3,000 residents. Our water utility has about 630 residents on water, and our sewer utility is about 350. So it's small. I don't need another person. But if I'm going to get 3,000 bills in, I'm going to need another person. So to me, that doesn't make sense. So really what it doesn't mean, it means I have the same contractor coming in, I'm paying him the same amount, but I've got extra billing and admin support, which means more cost and no savings. It doesn't make any sense. We are looking at Councilman Navy and I have spoken to neighbors, municipalities for shared service to see if we can save costs that way. We're also looking into alternative, modifying the current contract such that one thing that we're looking at is tipping fees. Our contractor pays tipping fees. They haul it to a station, they tip it. The recycling, they tip it, the station weighs it and says, okay, you got this many tons, we'll pay you this amount. All right, right now, we pay a flat rate to the contractor. What if we had a deal with the tipping, the transfer station ourselves, and instead of paying a set fee every month. What if we decided, you know what, we'd like our contractor to tip over here, and instead of we paying you, we'll pay the transfer station. It's one alternative that we're looking at. We have to do a little analysis of it, because what happens is we, the municipality, now assumes the risk that, who knows, we might be paying more than what the contractor is paying, or we may be paying less of what the contractor is getting paid. So we have to be careful with that one. So we're doing analysis on that. All right. Just make sure I'm on the right slide. Yes. Okay. I mentioned this before. Last year, the average assessed household was about $576,500. This year it's $577,728. Our tax rate is going up from 0.534 up to 0.567, which means approximately $197 per year, a little over $16. I believe I said $16 per month. All right, give you an idea, an 8-year review. I've been here 6 years. In 2016, well, let me talk about prior to 2016. Tax increases were almost non-existent for a number of years before 2016. When you do that, you're in trouble. 2016, there was a tax increase of 11.52%. From there, it dropped significantly down to 2017, 1.84%. In 2018, it was the second year I was here, it went down to 1%, lower than 1%. Not a very good move, because you can see that the following year, it went up to 3.31% in 2019. So what we're doing is we're going like this. It's better to just keep it streamlined as much as we possibly can. After that, we tried to keep it between, from 2020 to 2022, we are trying to keep it between, 3%. We were able to do that. Now 2023 comes along, we get hit with this 90% garbage increase, and there's just no way we can do it. In fact, when I first started on this budget with the Finance Committee, we were at a 10% tax increase. And we were able to whittle it down to about a 6.3% tax increase. So I wish I had a better story. We're looking to try to make it a better story, but this is where we are right now. But like I said, the adoption will be next month, I believe, and I have it on the next slide. Yes, the adoption of this budget will be on May 18th. There will be a public hearing for public comments about the budget. That's where we are. What I can say is, yeah, there was a reason why we started at 10%. Budget, you know, when you get hit with an increase of $700,000 for a budget that is approximately $16.5 million, that's a significant increase. Due to the past few years being somewhat frugal, keeping a steady tax base, we were able to take some of the dollars that we had put into almost like an account for emergency situations, for situations just like this, and apply it such that we could bring it down. I don't want to take this year, however, and say, you know what, yeah, we'll get it down to 3%, 4%. But what about next year? What I feel is, if we do that, we're going to be taking away from next year and the year after. And let's deal with the issue now, get it over with. We did the best we could, and hopefully next year, and I think next year we'll do better, especially with the garbage. We have a 2-year contract, but we're looking at ways such that within those 2 years that we can save dollars in our garbage and recycling costs. Mayor, that's all I have.
Thank you. I don't know if you want to take questions, Charlie?
I'd rather not, because at this point,
No, okay,
yeah,
sorry.
yeah, it's,
Yeah, we have to wait for the introduction.
yeah, I have to, after the, once we get to the public hearing, which will be next meeting, then we can take questions.
Okay, thanks, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thanks, Charles.
I wish I had a better, but you know what, we're doing the best we can. All right. Let me drop this down there so they see you, Mayor.
Yeah. So Charlie, I think the thing that sticks out most is your 8-year review. All of our tax increases were 300,000, 260,000, 290,000, 340,000. And then this year, garbage alone was what, $700,000 increase?
Yes.
It's got to be a way to fix that.
We're working on it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Joe.
Okay, I'd like to move on to the treasurer's report, please.
The treasurer's report indicates we started out with cash on hand as of February 28, 2023 in the amount of $12,101,728.23. Receipts for the month of March totaled $480,039.20, with disbursements amounting to $5,684,478.75. New balance on hand as of March 31st, 2023 was $6,897,288.68.
Thank you, Karen. Okay, Mayor's report, I wanted to first start with thanking the council and the administration for putting together that budget. You know, it's a lot of work, a lot of time away from your families, and I thank you for the effort. The garbage and the health insurance really threw a monkey wrench in the budget, and I think you guys did a very good job for what you were working with. Just some quick dates that I'm sure the councilman will report on is our farmers market is back in Kinnelon in June, starting in June. K-Fest is going to be September 30th. Our carnival this year will be the week of July 23rd. Our Pride Day will be June 3rd. We'll welcome, Stony Brook kids are welcome to our town. They're coming in for a day with the staff here and myself and the fire department and the library. They get to visit everyone around town. That has now moved to, Karen, May 24th. If you could send an email out to everybody that the day has switched.
You changed it?
Yep, there's some with testing, so they're moving it to the 24th. How they do on that test depends, helps our house value, so we gotta make sure they're well rested. So the 24th will be the kids from Stony Brook. The high school budget presentation is going to be April 25th at 6 p.m. over at the high school. We have a new superintendent over there, so it's a good time to meet him and also see his budget. The planning board, we started interviewing and researching planners for start planning for our COA battle that we're going to have in 2025. Although we don't have the numbers yet, we're making sure we're reaching out ahead of time, as they also mentioned that it's great that we're doing it, that we're reaching out ahead of time to make sure we're prepared for 2025. With that, I'd like to go to the council committee reports. I'll move on to open space. Councilman Yago, I know your meeting got canceled this month, so.
We met anyway.
Hope you have
It was
something.
just a
Okay,
work session.
very good, thank you.
Open Space is planning a daffodil planting event this Saturday. They have about 700 bulbs. We're going to plant around the municipal building. It'll be 9 a.m. on Saturday. There is a chance of rain. If that happens, it will be on April 27th. It will be the following Saturday, a week from Saturday. So if anybody's interested, come out 9 a.m. Boro Hall, bring tools, planting, whatever, to plant the daffodils. And Open Space is also looking into grants from the county for this coming year, so we'll be exploring those also. And that's all I have now.
Okay, thank you, Councilman. All right, personnel, we'll move on to Councilman Harris.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
There's been a lot going on in terms of personnel activity this month, or excuse me, last month. Council tonight will be introducing a resolution to authorize Mayor Frieda to sign the IBEW contract that has been under negotiation for quite some time now. The contract was, for the most part, negotiated last year by the then Personnel Committee, and that committee was made up of Councilman Yago, Councilman Russo, and Councilman Charles. And I'd like to publicly thank each of them for the work that they did on the contract, and it was all done on behalf of the borough. There are also employees of the borough who are not covered under any of our union contracts, such as our CFO, Charlie Daniels, and our Chief of Police. And we, in the Personnel Committee, invited them to speak with them for job performance reviews, and that was accomplished last week and the previous week. The Personnel Committee also met individually with various members of the staff, police, DPW, as part of a new performance review policy. And we discussed job requirements, job performance, gave employees the opportunity to express any feedback that they might have around their job, the work environment, et cetera, whether it was positive or negative, and any HR concerns that they might have. All the employees that were interviewed expressed their appreciation for the opportunity to meet with the council, or excuse me, with the Personnel Committee. In tonight's consent agenda, we will be acknowledging 3 new hires at the DPW: Cody Harper, Jefferson Dedea, and John Bauer, and they are being hired as full-time DPW maintenance workers or maintainers. Also on the recommendation of our DPW supervisor, John Whitehead, with the consent of council, we will be moving existing employee Peter Priestner from a Step 2 full-time DPW maintainer to a Step 3 DPW maintainer. Peter has reached all the benchmarks required for such a salary increase, and in order to incentivize him to continue working for the borough, we are making this adjustment, or recommending this adjustment be made by council. And among other things that Peter did was he paid for and earned his own CDL license, and that's not inexpensive. He did it on his own to make himself a more desirable employee, and that adds a tremendous value to him as an employee by the DPW, because now he's able to operate equipment that otherwise he wouldn't be able to operate. So I spent a lot of time focusing on training, and the question is why? Why do we bother? Why do we care? Why does anyone want to know about the training that our personnel go through? And one reason is to bring to the public's attention how much ongoing effort it takes to educate employees so they are prepared to provide you, the residents of Kinnelon, with the best professional services and professional professional services. Most importantly, training reduces on-the-job injury. We just had a GIF training the council went through that basically demonstrated what the value of training is to the borough, other than just keeping people out of the hospital. And the training was led by Frank Cavelli, the borough's insurance advisor, and as part of the training, Frank showed us a graph of the effect of safety training on lost time accident frequency. And we have a slide for that, but rather than have Charlie jump up and put the thing up, basically it's a graph, and it's a bar graph that shows, and actually I have a copy of it here. It's very hard to see probably from your position, but as you see, as this is training going up, and this is accidents, and it goes down. So basically, the more training that our employees get, the more on-the-job training they get, the less time they are out of work, the less insurance is applied to, less comp time. It's all a win-win for the borough. So one other thing I'd like to mention is that our borough clerk, Karen Yulee, and the administrative staff here were awarded a GIF Safety Award for 2022, and it's for repeated success in achieving a low lost time accident frequency score, and they've been able to achieve a score lower than the state average for several years now. So congratulations, Karen. There was a small stipend that was associated with that award. I think the party's at Karen's house. Couple last things. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about the training that we've accomplished here. So police training. Sergeant Christopher Mucci completed the third section of the New Jersey Chiefs Police Command and Leadership Academy program. It is mirrored from the actual command and leadership program instructed at West Point Military Academy. Chris Gilman was added as a junior. He's a little too old to be a junior. I think he's in his 30s, so he's actually a probationary firefighter. Corporation training for the KVFC members consisted of continued review of safety in the workplace materials. Rescue training consisted of motor vehicle accident evolutions, including vehicle stabilization, forced entry, and victim extrication. Individual company training involved apparatus and equipment familiarization for new recruits, pump and drafting operations at the in-ground tanks on Peachtree Lane. And one thing that actually came about from that evolution was that we learned that one of the tanks on Peachtree was actually inoperable, so which is a real problem for firefighting. If you have the need for a certain amount of water and the supply is not there, it definitely complicates your evolution. So that information was given to John Whitehead at the DPW, and they're going to be looking into repairing that. We also did tanker and shuttle drafting operations and use of hydrant assist water supply systems as a joint training operation with the Butler Fire Company. Butler is a mutual aid company, or mutual aid town with us, and by training with them, we make our water supply and fire attack efficiency much, much better. Triborough First Aid Squad participated in intensive bandage training exercises for both new and seasoned members, and they were also drilled in the CEVO Safe Vehicle Operation, which is the Certified Emergency Vehicle Operation Training Program, and it's offered through Morris County Public Training. And that is my report.
Very good, thank you, good report. All right, we'll move on to Recreation and Public Works, Council President Maybe.
Thank you, Mayor. Recreation, spring sports are in full swing. The kids are out playing on the fields, the sun's shining. It's going really well, and our numbers are through the roof with pretty much every single girls softball, baseball, t-ball. The numbers are great. This year, especially with girls softball, we have teamed up with Triborough, which combines Butler and Bloomingdale, which adds more competition for really any of the teams. It puts that much more competition into it, which is really exciting. And it's ultimately good for the kids. Couple notes on recreational facilities. Unfortunately, we got a message last Sunday that one of our bathrooms at the Booton Avenue field was vandalized. Somebody ripped the door off on the inside, also flooded the toilets and flooded the facility. DPW jumped on it on Monday, got everything cleaned up, everything fixed, which was good. Ultimately, we're in the process of right now is two things. One, trying to get Wi-Fi at the facilities, both fields, the KRP field plus the Booton Avenue field, so we can have cameras, so we can also catch and see the people vandalizing the field. And it also gives the ability for the police to have that ability to put the app on their phone and also see it. And just also encourage our police department to try to do more swing-bys to try to eliminate some of these problems. One of the things with the Wi-Fi, unfortunately, Optimum doesn't consider our Booton Avenue facility as a municipal property, so we do not get a discount. They consider us a corporation, so the cost on the Wi-Fi is very hefty, and anybody dealing with Optimum right now knows that their pricing is out of control. So I'm right now looking into hotspots for these two facilities, so we can hopefully cut those costs in half and make it affordable, and also get some cameras up at these facilities. DPW. Eric already spoke about the 3 new hires and also the step up for Peter. The step up for Peter is critical. Peter is actually filling a void that we have no one else to fill, and has really taken the place of Billy Allen, who left a month or 2 ago. And it's critical that we, maintain him. He's very diligent. He is always there to step up and do his job. So I think that ultimately is a good move. And I'm just going to jump into garbage, just like Charlie said. We're working very hard on this and have been working with John Whitehead and Joe Niosi over at the DPW. I know Charlie stepped into it a little bit. Unfortunately, none of us on the council knowing at that time that there was alternatives to the contract. It was financially entertaining to enter into a 2-year agreement. So that's the direction that the council have taken it. And unfortunately, we are, for right now, stuck in that. With our reaching out for shared services with Bloomingdale, we do know that once we're out of this contract, that there's real savings that can be saved on the recycling end. The second end that Charlie mentioned earlier was tipping fees. And we've done a lot of phone calls and a lot of research. Unfortunately, some of that information doesn't always get to us as quick as we'd like. But through conversations with other people, other municipalities, it is something that 3 different garbage vendors have, said to all of us and said to me personally. There is real savings in absorbing the tipping fee. So I am very hopeful that sooner than later we can make a decision as a council to absorb the tipping fees, because our neighboring community, Butler, got presented with a very similar contract as Kinnelon. And basically for the tipping fees, the contractor, who happens to be the same contractor here in Kinnelon, had the exact same pricing. So basically, Kinnelon's paying about $25,000 a month on the tipping fees. Right now, Butler had chosen to do a month-to-month contract and to also absorb their own tipping fees. And Butler is paying just a little over $4,000 a month for their tipping fees. So had they entered into that contract, they would have paid about $21,000 more of tipping fees. So Kinnelon's a little bit larger, obviously, of a municipality, a borough. So we would probably definitely have more of a cost. But looking at the information that I've gotten so far, I am very confident that this is something, if we can do the last of the research to make sure that we're going to save a significant amount of money this year, and especially save next year. Whatever savings we can pound out of garbage is going to be an asset to the borough and its residents. And we're going to continue to keep exploring other options. I've reached out to a vendor that used to be in the area that's located up in Sparta. They've been a little hesitant because unfortunately with the garbage guys, even though there's laws, it's very turf oriented. But I'm going to keep pursuing them to see if they would entertain putting a bid in Kinnelon. So at the end of our 2-year contract, we at least have some kind of competitive numbers to make a decision on. And I think that's it for me, Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Councilman. Then we'll move on to ordinance, library coordinating, Councilman Russo.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, tonight we're going to be adopting an ordinance which is going to change some of the zoning throughout the borough. The most significant of which is creating a commercial zone on Route 23 where we will be able to permit billboards to be erected. In addition to that, we're going to be introducing a number of other ordinances. First was an ordinance concerning dog ownership here in the borough. There was changes made in the state regulations about vaccinations, et cetera, and we needed to update that ordinance. I really want to thank our health officer, Tom Canizano, our animal control officer, Lisa Perry, members of our Board of Health. Joni Bender is here with us tonight. Joni was a big part of the review process for this ordinance, and a lot of time and effort and work went into it, and I think we came out with a good ordinance. In addition to that, we're going to be introducing an ordinance concerning marijuana and cannabis. I want to thank Police Chief Joe Napolitano for his input on that. Strange as it may seem, marijuana and cannabis are different things in the eyes of the law. Cannabis is a legal substance that can be consumed by those over 21 years old, and marijuana is illegal for anybody. Other than that, there is no distinction. So we wanted to address the issue of using the legal substance, which is cannabis, in various parts around the borough. We want to restrict that as much as possible. And as was mentioned in last month's meeting, a retail cannabis establishment is going to be open in Midtown Shopping Center, next door to Dairy Queen. And anyone who has questions or concerns about that should take that to the Butler Council, because that is Butler. It is not Kinnelon, and we have nothing whatever to do with that establishment. Last, we are introducing an ordinance, which we call Peace and Good Order, which addresses issues about noise and things of that nature, how various equipment can be used and what times it can be used in order to both allow work to be done while yet not creating havoc for people who are trying to enjoy the peace and comfort of their home. So those are three ordinances that we're going to introduce tonight. We also have an introduction of an ordinance to exceed the municipal budget and appropriation limits and establish a cap bank. That is housekeeping that our CFO Charlie Daniel does every year. So we'll be introducing that as well. So that's an ordinance. The historical committee, as we know, there were two fires at the museum, and two incidents where water pipes burst when there was no heat or some cold weather. The committee over there is working diligently with the historical preservation architects and the insurance company to try and get all of those issues resolved. I'm told that the outside of the building needs repainting, and they've also requested security cameras and an upgrade to the internet service that's provided at that location. So unfortunately, the museum is not open for visits, and can't be open until all of that restoration work gets resolved. The library work on the new air conditioning and heating equipment has been completed, which is a good thing. And the work here at the borough for installing the AC system here is underway, and that should be completed shortly. Board of Health. The Board of Health has voted to make modest increases in septic inspections. Those rates of inspection have not been upgraded in the last 20 or so years. So some small increases in the inspection fees will be coming down. And that is my report for tonight, Mayor.
Thank you. Nice report.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to just mention, it sounds pretty confusing, the difference between cannabis and marijuana. There is a distinct difference. cannabis is taxed, and then money goes to the state. Marijuana is not taxed, so marijuana is illegal, but cannabis is okay.
Point of information, isn't today 420?
Is it 420?
Is that, no one else picked up on that. Just saying. Sorry for interruption.
Thank you. All right, and thank you for your hard work on all these ordinances. There's a lot of ordinances there and a lot of work, so thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to move on to utilities and technology from Councilman Charles.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
We have a little bit going on. Charlie's efforts, we're moving forward. We requested estimates to complete the digitization of the Board of Health and all the borough minutes, which are cartons and cartons at the off-site storage facility down by BJ's. That should be coming shortly once we finish the budgets and a few other projects. As well as we're looking at new digital wiring throughout the building. It's all the original wiring throughout this facility and the library. And again, Matthiessen, our current IT maintenance contractor, is completing the assessment of the current capabilities, and we'll be looking into potential IT companies to come in and present and solicit bids on rewiring these buildings. It's time, long overdue. And that leads into telephones, long overdue. That needs to be replaced. The technology has advanced so much, we're still with old systems. And that would include the borough, KPD, and the library and DPW building. Underway this week, our provider, Matthiessen, has reconfigured all the borough computers this week. So we've made the switch to Microsoft 365, so we avoided the deadline. And we'll be reducing the servers in the Borough Hall from 4 to 3, which will reduce operating costs. And this migration over to Microsoft 365 will improve the email and all the backup services. The municipal building is complete. The library and DPW will follow shortly. Which really means anything that says kinnelonborough.org has been upgraded and migrated to the new Microsoft system. Lastly, we received a nice little notice today. Starting April 26th for 4 or 5 days, JCP&L will have their annual helicopter inspection flyover on the power lines, weather permitting. What that means is they use infrared and ultraviolet spectrum specialized cameras to detect any overheated transmission lines that they can't see visibly. They'll be picked up by this detection system. So if you see, when you see blue helicopter flying up and down our power lines, it's JCP&L running their annual maintenance survey on all the lines. Utilities. Just so everybody understands, March 3rd, the county activated the county emergency operation antennas over on the Denise Drive monopole. They're activated. March 16th, Northeast migrated our KPD, our emergency antennas, over to the monopole, and they are in operation. They've been approved and they're activated. Morris County has removed all the old wiring, all the debris from the site. Ongoing right now, if you noticed, construction has begun. On April 10th, the variable flow distributors have been installed and tested at the Powderhorn Pump Station. And this week, April 17th, the water contractors have installed a hydro-pneumatic pump adjacent to the pump station. That is running right now to be cleared, and they'll be testing the water for the next several days. That will replace, once that's approved, that will replace the water in the Denise Drive water tank, so the tank can be drained and dismantled. We mailed yesterday, the notice is out to the 2025 residents in that area, so they know what's going on with the dates and the usage regulations, because this will put a little bit of constraint on the volume of water that will be available, particularly for watering lawns and filling pools. The week of the 24th, next week, they anticipate the engineers having this new hydropneumatic tank completely tested and cleared and operational. And we'll keep everybody informed on that, particularly the adjacent residents. As Councilman Russo mentioned, the library has been completed, the HVAC is in. Few tune-ups they're involved in right now. So they've now moved their crews over to the Borough Hall. They started this week. That'll be about 7 weeks to move all, if I'm not mistaken, 7 big air handlers and condensers. There's a 15-ton unit in the basement. It's a lot of work. So we're excited that will be done before the air conditioning season kicks in, even though last week you wouldn't have known. Lastly but not leastly, the emergency shelter, senior community center, the extension of the utilities are nearing completion this week. They'll be coordinating with Butler, the engineer, on testing the water, all the chlorination, bacteria, and pressure testing. As well as we have completed the replacement of a very old fire hydrant that has been completed. There was a new hydrant and a new hookup. Again, that will be coordinated with Butler on the testing of this. Butler will remove the old tank, the old fire hydrant and the material. Incidentally, 2 other fire hydrants are going in on Walnut Lane. So we've expanded the water usage. And again, that's all contingent on Butler when they're ready to be running the testing with the engineers. The paving of the 2 trenches on Walnut Lane are nearing completion, hopefully tomorrow, if not early next week, weather permitting. And when that's completed, all the affected properties on Walnut and Daniel will be remediated. They'll be cleaned up and they'll go back and they'll look nice. We're not going to leave anything messy, no piles of stones, piping, ruts. So that has been promised. And Mayor, that's my report.
Councilman, the computer upgrades were just seamless, so thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Charlie, too, because Charlie had a lot was involved. Thank you with everybody. Karen, thank you for coordinating with everybody in the staff. It needed to be done, and KPD will be getting theirs done separately so we're all in compliance by the end of October. So again, thank you. We're doing okay. And we have the backup, which is very, very important right now. We have on-site, off-site, and up in the cloud. So we did well. And now we pray for the wiring and the telephones.
Here we go. No, it should be seamless, hopefully. But a quick question. I know I've had residents ask about hooking into the water system that's on Walnut. Isn't it the DEP put the kibosh on that and said no hookups no matter what?
For this phase, absolutely.
Yeah.
But who says we aren't going to come back and revisit it?
Fair.
Right? I mean, we have it in. We have sewer and water in now. It was really interesting. I'm glad you brought that up. That was great because you got one of the phone calls. Butler stopped the water and sewer lines all the way in their own town. We had to go 200 feet into Butler to do the hookups for the water and the sewer lines. So the residents in the Butler down there on Walnut Lane are saying, gee, could we hook up?
And they weren't allowed.
They weren't allowed because we need to finish this, then come back with a plan with costs, which we need to do because we're getting requests. And it makes sense. We have the sewer line, we have the water there, why not?
Yeah.
And see what that costs. And that also provides another opportunity, which would be the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th phase, which we as a council will start working on shortly, is how do we move forward with this whole complex? This is a significant multi-use facility. It's around 12,000 square feet. We were approved. We're one of the only communities in the Highlands conservation or preservation zone, the most strict, to receive a waiver to put in an emergency shelter, senior community center, which allows us to get grants. The county is willing to work with us in the state on grants for this, and so is the Red Cross. But the utilities have been moved into the woods. That'll all be graded. we have two options. We move forward to the new field, to that complex, and guess what, the mayor mentioned it, we're looking at it as an option. We can make a right turn, and guess what, we can run those lines over to the Kinnelon Recreation Park, and we can bring all those facilities where they have reliable services, water and sewage. So, and we're excited. It looks pretty good. They have to remediate it though. It's still all dug out. They will come in and they have to start backfilling, which I believe will be next week. Backfilling, so all the dirt at the back end of the KPR parking lot will be moved back in to fit the backfill where they excavated. So, again, that's a big to-do for everybody. Thank you. It's exciting as we get this first step done. And we have options now to move forward as a group, as a municipality. Everybody can be involved. Everybody needs to be involved. This is pretty neat what we can do. And if we do it right, we can get grants, significant grants, because the county is involved with the OEM, putting a rig in that building. We put a rig in that building, an ambulance, guess what? We get grants, significant grants. It's pretty neat, and the sheriff's office is interested too, because they don't have, other than the park, which shuts down at 6 o'clock at night. They really don't have anything, this part of Lawrence County. So it's pretty neat, thank you. It's been quite an endeavor with everybody. We've been very fortunate the weather held, and we were able to get this done. You know, there were some pretty big rocks down there that were moved. Thank you.
All right, Councilman, thank you for your report. We'll move on to Finance and Public Safety, Councilman Churdo.
Thank you, Mayor. So I was gonna start off by reading the list of the top secret recipe that the fire department uses to make their pancakes. But I decided not to rattle off the ingredients, and just to encourage everybody to get out there on April 30th. I believe it's 8 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, even earlier, great. 7 o'clock in the morning till 12 o'clock. So please get out there. These men and women, they jump when we need them, and now they need us to support them. I love going to the pancake breakfast. I don't ever look at it as making a, I don't ever look at it as paying for pancakes. I look at it as making a contribution to my fire department and being able to enjoy a nice breakfast with family and friends.
And I think this year Anthony's actually going to be serving pancakes.
Yeah, I gotta hit my obligation. And I know that I believe that the fire department they took their course to recertify on how to make the perfect Mickey Mouse pancakes last week, so I know my daughter's very excited for those Mickey Mouse pancakes. Would also like to thank them for all their efforts in terms of helping our neighboring community in West Milford. Again, these are volunteers that mobilized at a moment's notice. Last week was National Telecommunication Public Safety Week. So what does that really mean? It was basically National Dispatch Appreciation Week. So I just want to recognize our dispatching staff. It's a nationwide national week to honor the staff. These dispatchers are the voice of safety of our community. When you call up and you have an issue or a concern, they're the ones that are picking up and making sure that your concerns are handled properly and the right officers and fire and ambulance are taken care of in that matter. In regards to dispatch, I was given the opportunity to take a look at the dispatching system, and we're in conversations starting last month or last week at the work session to kind of bring up the topic in regards to how do we best go down the path to upgrade our dispatching system. This building alone is around 20 to 23 years old, and our dispatching system is older than that because it was communicated to us that that dispatching desk came from another community and was brought here when the building was built, and from seeing it, those buttons definitely look like they're from 1990. So the Finance Committee and the Public Safety Committee is working to get proposals and what that looks like. So if this is a topic of concern for you, for those watching, it will be brought up again at the next work session. So if you're interested, please come out, and we will probably be taking a path forward on upgrading those systems. Finance, I want to thank Charlie for not only doing the work on the budget, but putting up with me for the last 4 months as a new finance chair within the borough. You know, it's horrible to say this, but yeah, the budget, it's garbage. There's a lot of garbage in there. It's all garbage building in that. And when you take that garbage out, like Charlie said, it's a fairly conservative budget in regards to when you take the 2/3 of it is garbage. I want to thank him for that. Now that we have the budget kind of under on really taking a hard look at our capital expenditures, our capital projects, and one in the main forefront is paving. Paving. You can't push off paving because the road is only going to get worse the following year, and there's going to be more roads to add to that list. So we will be working on that. We will be taking a little bit of a more aggressive approach in regards to a timeline for that. So if you're interested in this topic of paving, please keep an eye on the council website for the work session, the public meeting next month, and there might be a special meeting here and there, just because we get on a schedule. And what I mean by a schedule when it comes to paving is you don't really want to pave in the fall. You want to try to pave in the summertime, and mainly because the major component to paving is petroleum, diesel, and normally that is a lower cost in the summertime. As you get closer to the fall, closer to the winter, price goes up, it costs more to pave our streets. So we will be looking at that. We did get a grant last year to pave Cutlass Road. I believe the total cost is somewhere around $500,000 to pave that road, and we have a grant for about 230 some odd thousand. So we do have to pave that road. So if you do see that road being paved and you say, wait a second, that wasn't that bad, why did they pave that one over mine? It's because we got a grant, so we have to make sure we pave that street. But we are taking a look at how we can best utilize all of our dollars to maximize the paving schedule and pave a successful future for Kinnelon. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we're gonna move on to hearing from the public. Is there anybody from the public that can be heard? If you can, come on up front. We don't need your name anymore or your address, just start talking.
Why not? No, just kidding.
Although we all know you.
Maybe not everyone. So can I say my name?
If you like, sure.
Ed Morba, family, Ed Morba, 48 Tintle Road. So I know there's a lot of information going around now for these new projects that are going on. And we have the project behind Lowe's and Bed Bath & Beyond. So I heard about that last week, so this is all kind of new for me because I don't know much about it. So I just wanted to make some comments and some things. I did some research and tried to talk to people. I had a lot of neighbors come over and talk about this project, and they were just curious what it was. So the pilot program, what I understand, there's $1 million that is going to be given to the borough of Kinnelon through this pilot program of this project, proposal, I'm not sure what you want to call it. So if the borough's going to receive $1 million from the project, it sure sounds good. $3 million, sounds great. I'm not so sure that that's going to happen. And the reason why I think that it's possible that that could change is because this is a 55 and older project. So since it's a 55 and older project, I kind of looked at some numbers. And in order for it to be 55 and older, I believe the builder is looking at $4,000 a month rent or more. I don't think 55-year-old folks in this area generally are going to afford $4,000 a month in rent. It just doesn't seem that likely to me. I'm in the business, in the mortgage and real estate business. So $4,000 in rent for a senior in this area, I'm not quite sure that that's going to happen. So if that's not going to happen, then is the builder going to be incented to keep this as 55 and older? Can the builder change his mind? Do we have a guarantee that the builder is going to keep it at 55 and older? I'm not so sure. So I know that this particular builder has projects in other towns, and from the original proposals on these projects, they changed. That's happened many, many times, all over the state, never mind the country. When a builder comes in and they want to build something, and they want it their way, things change. There's lawsuits. I've talked to people that have had situations like that in this town too. Things have changed over the years. And a builder can go ahead and sue and change. I don't know, if we're gonna be able to hold on to the original deal that they come in with. So that's the first thing that I wanted to talk about. And I also want to thank Bill Yago, and I want to thank Councilman Russo and Randy Charles. I want to thank Tammy Roselius for all the things that they've done. In the last 10 years, from some of the work that they've done, we haven't had any major building done in this town. They held on to that. And I appreciate the rest of the council too. But I will say, for the last 10 years, for nothing to be built in this town, from the things that they did, the planning board work, Tammy Roselius, tireless for 20 years or so, I really have to applaud her. So thanks for doing the work that you do. I don't think I have any other questions now. I don't have any questions, I just have comments. So I hope the town and, can look into this more, have more discussions, get people involved in this project. There's going to be another project possibly coming, July of 2025, where it might begin at Stop and Shop here. That's a whole nother round of discussions, and I hope people, look at this, get involved, because things are changing in this town. I've been here 36 years. I love the town. Great people. Let's have objectivity, and let's all share information. Thank you.
Anyone else from the public like to be heard?
Yeah, well, Mayor.
Hi, Michael.
How are you?
Great, how about you?
This is a great meeting. Good to see you all.
Thanks.
Thank you. Listen, that was a rough first go, and I think I have a lot to learn about how all these things come together. I was surprised, actually, that you couldn't just pick a lawyer, Jim. I'm Mayor Creed.
I can.
You can, and I fully support that, by the way. And it's good to see you, Councilman Maybe. Good to see you. Nice to see you. I'm 56, and I don't even want to think about how much goes to property taxes. I think you're worth every penny. I don't have kids in the school. I don't feel popular right now, though. I mean, you really want another, how many more of me do you want here? You really thought about it. I mean, I'm kind of a piece of work. You sure you want more? I'm good laugh. It's all good. I mean, Gen Xers, 55 and older, we learn conflict management skills from larger men standing at arm's reach. So we're not quick to guns on stuff, okay? And, maybe I overreacted. If I want to act like a gentleman, I'm going to imitate this guy right here. You know that? I seriously, I don't need to judge any of you for how we talk in public. I learn every day, and I learn from you, okay? I just feel like weak voices are put at a disadvantage here. If I am if I'm ever the loudest voice in the room, I already know I'm not the smartest person in the room. And I worry a little bit. I almost want to be a blocker. That's what I did. I was left guard. I played football in high school for Clarkstown South. If anybody attended Bergen Catholic, I played you. That's how close. I grew up near here, 2 days walk north of here. I've actually walked from here to the Green Mountains from where I'm standing here. I belong to these hills. I happen to own the one right up on top of there, and I love it. I happen to think I'm special in the way that I don't care about paying for other, because I think my brother graduated out of Kinnelon High School. My dad's buried in Kinnelon. My mom, whoever. I mean, I've got history here. I've always been. I've been a demographic with somebody who maybe goes away and comes back. There was a woman here spoke in January about how she had been living here for a number of years, but recently, I guess, because she retired. We get to this age at 55, we step up, and I got to tell you, I feel powerful sometimes. I feel like being a citizen here is almost like being a member of Congress or something. You know, you look up, like you're like the Senate and we're the kind, you guys treat me like that sometimes. I really feel special. I just don't think you want another 500 of me. I don't know what you're gonna do. Yeah, Sean, I don't, sorry, that's Councilman maybe. We never talk. And I just, there's this concept of a constitutional republic I read about sometimes. I think about, Councilman Harris, your speech was beautiful. When you were sworn in, you spoke about how you have to represent everyone. That's a foundational concept in a democracy. We don't have to agree with each other. And I have had millions of interactions with the public as a lifeguard in Los Angeles. And 98% of it was always just let yell at you, prevent you to listen to them. You know, it means a lot when you listen, Sean. I agree with everything you've done here, Sean. Every official action you've done, you have my full support, and you have my respect. I think you're a good guy. I don't like it when somebody says something about you not being able to read. I don't know what that's about. You're one of the smartest people I know. You know stuff. You know, I couldn't do your job here. You know, I couldn't do your job in the daytime. I respect you. I don't know what I've done. So, I don't know what to say for somebody that can pretend to be your friend through election day and then just ghost you. I don't know what that means. I don't know how to understand it. I'm Generation X. I don't think you want another 500 of me. I would do it. I would pay the extra money to make sure I wasn't having kids here to key my car or something. I love the kids here. But you're going to have to learn when you have somebody like this. I'm very sensitive to parents being protective of their children. I love taking pictures of events. If you want me to photograph a lacrosse game, you're going to have to ask me 2 or 3 times and make sure all the parents know who I am. You're going to have to make sure the coach knows who I am, because I respect, you know, what I can do and what I should do are 2 different things as a photographer. I don't have any cameras here. I'm not recording. If I were, I don't think it would be dangerous. And if I edited excerpts of this to make a point, I would be perfectly good free speech rights. And I celebrate. Some of you, I believe, celebrate your Second Amendment rights in ways that I actually, I want to read about. I have so much generosity towards the people who see things differently here. My First Amendment rights are precious to me. I have 5,000, I have tens of, I don't want to brag about this. I've worked on TV shows you've heard of. You've seen, I guarantee you. I don't want to go there. When I ask you guys, you indulge me with information about who's singing, who's attending, I have no right to explain that. It's really appreciated. But when it's suddenly yanked, when I'm, it's a precious few days. Please remember this. After an election between Veterans Day, for people to come together. And no, I'm not a veteran. But you know, guys, that's not the question. The question is, am I a patriot? Nobody uses that word anymore. It's not tied to a political party. If you think it is, you're in the wrong country. I'm not in the wrong party. Okay? I love you guys. Dude, I don't know why we aren't friends. Can somebody help me? Seriously, because
I don't know why you said
high
you're
school
not
athletics.
friends, because I think you're friends. So.
Well, thank you. But I mean, high school athletics, I'll never meet those. I'm kind of a time, I'm sure. Guys, you don't want more of me here. You don't think you want me here. I really don't. Sean, I don't think you want me here, man.
I think you should be here, and
Well,
you should be able to get up and be heard. That's what this whole thing is
Thank
about.
you.
Everybody should come together, whether we agree or disagree, but ultimately, we're all a part of the borough of Kinnelon.
Right.
And everybody brings something to the puzzle, okay? And you take a little from here, take a little from there. We don't all have to agree, and that's fine. And that's the way it's supposed to be. So,
Thank you for
as
that.
far as I'm concerned, you should be able to come every time you want to come and get up and speak. That's
Thank
what
you.
it's all about.
Thank you, and I'm sorry, I almost interrupted you a couple times. It's a bad habit of mine, and it's what's weird is because I get really upset when people do it to me. I suck at this. No, really, and I don't know how you do it. It's good, it's hard work. You set up a private Facebook group with people that are
Mike,
required.
questions are all directed to me, Michael.
Well, what do you think of a private Facebook group that requires
There's
proof
no
of
problem.
residency that one of you can kick us out of? I mean,
Okay, thank you.
listen,
Time's up.
I can't do that.
Thank you.
Can't do that.
Anyone else from the public like to be heard?
I'm not in your caucus, is what I'm saying.
Thank you,
caucus with
Michael.
other people. Yeah, thank you.
John Canning with me, I'm Tom Klein, we're from the
Yes.
Historical Committee. We just wanted to come in and talk a little bit about the museum.
Yes, you guys are earning your keep this time. The amount of money we're paying, I tell you.
Just wish you would stop kicking me in the leg.
Oh, I feel like it. Karen tells me things, I'm like, no. But thank you for coming tonight to report about what's going on in the historical building. This is
So,
crazy.
last time we were here, was about last October. We came in and we kind of gave you an update about where we were at. So from the time the fire started in July, we went through 3 months of subrogation with the insurance company before we could get to a point of trying to decide what it is we were going to do to fix the fire damage. And at that time, there was some concern that the entire electric system may have to be redone. And at that point, I asked the council for authorization to be able to expend up to $10,000 for an electrical engineer and up to $6,000 for architectural fees. I was not certain at that time whether or not the insurance company would cover those fees. Since then, we have gotten the insurance company to cover $10,000 of architectural fees. And instead of hiring an electrical engineer, we hired an electrician from Bloomingdale for $2,500, which is also being covered by the insurance. And they performed what is known as a Megger test. And where this started was the building inspector told us that they would not allow us to restore power to the building until an electrician certified that all the circuits were in good order after the fire. So the Megger test basically runs about 500 volts through each circuit in the museum, and they test the insulation. A perfect score would be 4,000.
The part I don't want to hear.
Yeah, we're getting to it, so I'm sorry.
So a perfect score is what?
4,000.
4,000.
4,000 across the board. Anything less than, 4,000, like, 1,500 or a 0 is bad. It took a long time for me to get from getting a quote for the Megger test to actually having it performed. In early February, I was taking a vacation at Morristown Memorial for a little angioplasty, and while I was waiting for my procedure to be done, Karen called me up and said, by the way, one of the pipes at the museum broke over the weekend. We had 0-degree day. And the museum is flooded, and then the next call I got about 5 minutes later was the electrician saying, I can come and do the Megger test now. And I was like, well, it's really not going to be very effective if we go in and start testing the insulation with it all completely soaked. So we had to put them off for a little bit. We got the Megger test done in early March. It came back that 10 of the 38 circuits passed. So we basically now at that point where we realize that we have to rewire the building.
And that includes taking all sheetrock down.
Well, that may. We're not sure. John and I met with Margaret Hickey, our historical preservation architect at the museum last week, and we talked about that. And what we want to do, now that we know what we have to do, what we're going to be doing going forward is consulting with different electricians. Because if it costs $100,000 to rip out all the sheetrock and put it all back up, or maybe it costs $30,000 to have an electrician run the lines without doing that, then it's like a no-brainer. But the electricians come in and they just want it to be easy. So they're like, get rid of all the sheetrock and then we'll do our work, and it'll be $10,000 for our work, but you can spend $100,000 rebuilding everything, and that makes absolutely no sense. So, right now, the direction that we're taking from Margaret Hickey is that she's making 3 sets of specifications for work. One will be to correct the fire damage, one will be to correct the water damage, and then the third one will be to correct the electric. We're okay with the fire and the water because those are insurance claims, but it's the electric that we're gonna have a problem with. So I just wanted to, put a couple things out there, let you know where we're at. One thing that comes up to my mind as the borough's historian is the collection. If we have to rip all the sheetrock out of the building, we're gonna need a place to put the collection. And it can't be like a trailer like we did when we were doing the renovation. The trailer was good for the furniture, but we can't take photographs and manuscripts and things like that. and put it in an unheated, unair conditioned trailer. We need a warm, dry spot. So Mayor and Council, what I'm thinking out loud is that perhaps one of the empty classrooms in the Glen Cisco School that are upstairs currently not being used. And I'd just like to remind the whole council again that the Borough of Kinnelon owns that building.
Yes.
Not the Board of Education.
Correct.
So it should be, a pretty easy,
It would be,
an easy thing to get accomplished.
no, it would be, they would do that. We took a tour up there, they're not using some of the classrooms up there.
There is talk, Mayor, that they're thinking of introducing a full-time kindergarten program.
Yes.
And that may have some impact on those rooms. So,
Yeah, not yet, because they don't have a lease from us.
right.
Yeah, so they're not planning on going up there.
So if you have at least,
So hopefully we get-
you have at least put a little caveat in there that we may need to use
Yeah,
some
yeah.
space for a little bit.
The other thing, I'm not sure, but maybe Bill might know with the construction at the DPW, didn't we build storage up there that was air conditioned? No, we didn't. Okay,
Okay.
let's just go ahead.
So here comes the, kind of the rub for some decision-making here. Once we get our proposals and some preliminary costs, we're gonna come back.
Of course.
But we're gonna need to know where funding can come from.
Well,
So
just
you
the
had-
open space, recreation, and historical fund.
You have three choices.
Yep.
If you wanna get it done right away, you can pay for it out of open space. If you wanna wait, we could wait till 2024. We could apply for grants from Morris County with an 80-20 split. That might be a recommendation, but on the other hand, that would mean that we would have to keep the museum closed for probably another year and a half. So again, there's some, financial decisions that we have to think about here. There is a possibility that we could get apply to the New Jersey Historic Preservation Trust, which is a state agency as opposed to a county agency, that we could get funding from them for re-electrification. I'm told from Margaret Hickey, our consultant, that the split on that is 60-40. And if it exceeds $200,000, it's 50-50. Also, on that vein, if we go to the state, again, all of this is subject to approval by whatever agency. If we were to go to the state agency, they look very favorable upon creating emergency services centers. And they would be more apt to look favorably upon our application if we were to install a generator at the museum. And then use that as an emergency warming station in the event of a widespread power failure. So that's really our three funding options. I'm not really sure. I think it would probably be a better discussion when we have a little bit better idea on the cost. We'll be working on that soon. We did, working on another project, which we could probably use some help from Sean and Randy and Vince. We have an alarm system down in the museum, which is active right now. And earlier in the year, we looked at putting in some wireless telecommunicators. Right now, the security system operates on 2 phone lines. And we're
I got an update on that today.
okay. I don't have the most latest information. I'm going to defer to John.
MCI Security told me that they had installed the cellular communications. And we also put in a high-low temperature sensor, which we requested be put in on the first floor. It appears they put that in the basement, which really doesn't do us a lot of good. So I'm waiting for a call back from them to confirm that this has been successful and that the cellular system is working. And then we can cancel the 2 lines that we're paying for the security system. So there's a cost savings there. So
that's kind of where I was going, is that, we're at the point where we need to get to trim those lines off the borough. And just to put this a little bit into money perspective, in order to add the 2 cellular dialers, it was an extra $10 a month. and we figured that we were spending close to $120 a month on the phone lines. So, you know, we have a net savings on this once we get over the installation cost, so not this year, but next year. We should be saving a little bit of money. We did put the temperature sensor in. I'm not sure where that project went awry. We were kind of specific about where we wanted it, and unfortunately, I haven't been able to get around much. So,
That's all you need now, right?
well, unfortunately, right after Karen told me about the break, I went into the museum and checked it out. We had like maybe 8 or 9 blowers running, and it was drying the place out, and that was great. And then a few days later, I broke my ankle, and I couldn't walk on it for 8 weeks. So I haven't been able to get back, but I went back in with John on last week to meet with Margaret Hickey, and I'm not sure if it was the insurance carrier or the DPW, I don't know who did it, but somebody went in, removed sheetrock, and removed some of the tile on the floor at the entry, and I really would hope that whoever was doing this would have coordinated with us so that we would have said certain things like you can pry up the tile, but you gotta keep them. Like, don't just throw them away, because we may not be able to find something that matches that, and that could lead to bigger problems. So if there is any work going on there of any sort, one of us should be informed.
No, I agree, and we've always put you ahead of even with the insurance, you've been running that, so thank you for all your work.
And right now, we don't have any out-of-pocket expense. The insurance company has covered everything that we've spent money on. I've actually paid some of the bills directly, so we don't have to do that.
But my advice, and I know you know this as a former councilman, is touch base with Charlie, and then we'll figure out a workshop for you to come in and present it to us where we can really sit down and talk money and make sure.
The reason that I mentioned Sean, Randy, and Vince about those phone lines is that the phone lines for the museum don't get billed to the historic committee, they get billed to DPW. So, you know, we gotta coordinate between DPW and us to get us off those phone lines. Otherwise, it's pointless to have gotten the savings.
Okay.
Got it.
Any questions, anybody?
No, we just all have our fingers crossed. I feel like you're every time something positive happens with the historical, it just takes a step backwards.
Quick question, Tom. Is there anything we can do as a fundraiser? Anything on the borough website, social media, anything we can ask residents if they'd like to donate? Just think, don't answer me now, just think about it. You enjoy, think about it.
I need to find out what the costs are.
Yeah, but.
And I don't know which way all I know is that what we have to fund is the electricity. Because the insurance company's gonna pay for part of it, but they're not gonna pay for all
No,
of it.
they won't.
So that's what I gotta find out. How to get it
It's
done.
just a thought, but let's get it out. It's important.
So, one other point that Vince brought up, and when he was mentioning what we were up to, is that there's a question as to whether or not the building should have cameras, security. And we kind of, at the historical committee level, kicked that to the council. It's not our building, it's your building. So you guys have to get back to us and let us know, yeah, we think that's a good idea. No, we don't think that's a good idea, because the wiring for the cameras is gonna become part and parcel of the whole rewire of the building. So the time to do it is now.
Oh, yeah, because we need.
Don't need an answer tonight, but maybe next month, after your workshop, you can kick it around and let us know how you feel about it. All right? Thank you, Mayor. Council?
I have non-historical
All right.
comments. One is, you may not be aware of it, but, tax season just closed, and AARP Tax Aid did 87 tax returns in the Kinnelon Library for free. Volunteers did that. My wife is one of the volunteers who does taxes here in town. I'm also the state technology coordinator, so I get all these statistics and stuff sent to me. But, I'd like to, say thanks to the library for hosting us and doing that. It's really, they really bend over backwards to help.
Oh, yeah, that's great. It's really good. Thank
That's
you.
good, thank you.
A couple of comments on the technology. You were talking about doing the wiring and the telephones. I'm a data communications specialist, that's what I did for 50 years. I'm gonna suggest that you consider the telephone wiring and the regular wiring, put it together, because you're probably gonna end up with, one wire system. And, you know, if there is something I can do, I mean, having done that, if you got, you know, bids coming in, you need someone with some technical expertise to help you evaluate the bids, you can call on me and I'll work with you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's just an offer.
That's- Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. There you go. Okay, anyone else in the public like to be heard?
Tammy Brazilians. We're following up on something we were talking about last March, and it specifically refers to why I was not reappointed to the planning board. Mayor, you had stated that you did not reappoint me to Kinnelon Planning Board because I opposed the Capitagli apartments, and that I am dead set against the apartments, that I would not listen, and that I cannot make an educated decision for the borough, and that you want somebody there who can listen. I'd like to take a few minutes to respond to that. I take my oath seriously. When I swore to faithfully, impartially, and justly perform my duties as a Class 4 member of the Planning Board, I take it seriously. During the 4 years that we served together on the Planning Board, did you ever observe me not fairly treating the applicants, the professionals, or residents while considering the applications in front of the Kinnelon Planning Board?
No.
Thank you. Why would you think that I am unwilling to fairly consider an application in front of the planning board such as the Capitagli apartments?
Because I asked you, and you said you wouldn't.
No, that's not true. I never said I wouldn't, and I'll give you a couple examples why that I believe that. Personally, I am opposed to giving tax exemptions to developers. The redevelopment program is a state program to provide tax exemptions to property owners. They make pilot payments. They are payments in lieu of taxes. In my opinion, Kinnelon should not be giving preferential treatment to developers. We should tax apartments like the rest of Kinnelon taxpayers, such as Kinnelon Ridge. They pay taxes based upon their tax assessment guide. If our taxes go up, like garbage, insurance, school, our taxes go up, their taxes should go up. Pilot payments are based upon rental income, not assessed values. On KinnelonFirst.org, we will be presenting an analysis of the differences between pilot payments and other types of tax payments for the Kinnelon residents' consideration. However, if the council decides that that's what's in the best interest of the borough, I, as a member of the planning board, would move forward with that project. Just as I did when the council directed the planning board to do the redevelopment study. I did not personally agree with that decision. I don't think that the redevelopment study was in the best interest of the borough, but that's what the council chose to do, and they directed the planning board to do it. So that's what we did. We moved forward, we did the study, the planner got involved, and it was considered that that property in question meets the state criteria for redevelopment purposes. I disagree with your conclusion that I am not capable for following my oath, that I cannot properly perform my duties, and that I would consider my opinions or what I would like the town to do to be more important than what I should be doing as a member of the board. I oppose a redevelopment plan. It is not a COA plan. It gives tax abatements to property owners, and I think that they should be taxed like everybody else. you have any questions, comments? I have some questions related to the sign zoning ordinance. I believe there's going to be a public portion related to that afterwards in old business, is that correct?
The ordinance?
Then I will address them then, thank you.
Anyone else from the public? On up?
Good evening, Jeff again, 9 Tower Road here in Kinnelon. Don't come to too many of these meetings, so thank you for listening to me tonight. First, I want to thank the mayor and the council for all the good work that you do. I can't agree with everything, but put your time in generously to support the activities in the town are much appreciated, so thank you. I also want to thank some of the staff too. I mean, Melanie in the recreation department, and I've worked with her a couple times. She's great. And Karen a little bit over the years. She probably doesn't know that well, but just want to say we got a lot of good people working here. The guys in the DPW, love them. Boy, they go out there and they do great work and keeping the snow clear, trimming all the bushes and everything. So thank you for that. So a little bit more closer to my heart. I just wanted to talk, and I'm not sure how much we discussed it tonight, or just point me in the right direction. But a dog park. There's some interest in a dog park, and initially, I'm not familiar with the social app, Next Door Neighbor, or something like that. And you post there, and someone posted something like, oh, that's kind of interesting. And right away, some people go, oh, why should we spend money on it? And, you know, so like, let's not worry about the money just yet, but unfortunately, it has to be done at some point. But there's always creative ways to work on that. I have myself and several other people in the town are interested in moving that forward. I don't even own dogs anymore, but I think that's a great thing in the town to have to be dog friendly.
I agree.
The new people moving into town, the young people, this is my anecdotal observation, is they're having few or no children, and their dogs are their children. So I think, you know, and they will pay taxes that will go to pay for the schools for the children that do come. So I think that's a really nice thing that the town should take a look at. I'd be willing to work with someone. I'm not sure if it's true with Bill in the open space or whatever. So either tonight or another time, if you could point me in the right direction about how I might be able to do that.
There would be the open space committee, right, Bill?
Yeah, so I could call you sometime.
Oh, yeah.
Great. Okay.
And we do have 2 open positions for that committee, but they're required to be either a planning board member or a recreation member, and we're having trouble getting either one of them to have another night for meetings. So it might be something this council will consider eliminating those 2 criteria. So maybe that's, we'll get John on that.
Okay, great. Because I would like, I'm retired, I have the time.
Sure,
I'd like to move forward on something like that if you would
Yeah,
like
it's
to
a
do
tough,
that.
the only problem with dog parks, it's a tough for finding locations.
Yes.
You know,
Not to get ahead of myself here, but I think it's in Morris Plains, they have there's a county park that has it. I wonder if somehow we could finagle Silas into something like that.
you could, maybe.
But whatever. So we'll look at that, it's all part of planning and see what we can do. Lastly, you know, the cannabis shop that's going in Butler, and that's in Meadtown. You know, I think we have a statute or whatever, an ordinance that says we're not going to have any in town. I think that was done very early on, like 2017, you know, and that was kind of a defensive move, I think, like, we don't know what we want to do, but if we do this, it kind of, you know, which was probably a good idea at
It
the
creates
time.
what's happening in Butler
Yeah.
right now. with-
But when we go to look for money, and I know this is emotional for some people, I mean, we get 2% of the revenue, so I know we don't. And my experience, not personally, but in other states, when you go there to these shops, people are mostly over 50 years old. These are not young people hanging out, loitering. Those people get it in the black market because it's much cheaper. Yeah, so you probably read a lot about that. So
Yeah, we're.
I know people don't like it, some people don't. But
Some of us are a bunch of old people up here that grew up with it being illegal, so I'm having a hard time swallowing it, but it's,
yeah.
you know, it's
So now it's going to be there. I mean, Kinnelon is right there with the
Yeah.
D-Town, right? So that's essentially in our neighborhood. But, you know, there's a lot of complications. Anyway, just something to think about, 2% of revenue.
No, we've thought about, what, by voting no, it also allowed this council to decide if it is coming here, where it would go.
Exactly, understood.
Right now, everybody's scrambling in Butler to find locations. You're gonna see 2 on Route 23, you're gonna see the one in B-Town.
Yes, there's a proliferation, absolutely.
Butler has 3 permits.
Yeah, and we don't really have good spots, you know what I mean, because a lot of residential areas.
You know, if you see that building on Route 23 being gutted right now, it's next, I call it the Answer building.
Yes.
Suzanne, that building to the right of it is now being redone for a cannabis shop.
There's probably gonna be too many, and then they'll consolidate and close them.
They look nice, they're nice and fancy, but,
Yeah.
you know, the gentleman who came to us to sell it said, get over it, Mayor, it's like a liquor store. You know, would you have a problem with someone walking out of a liquor store? And I said, yeah, I would. I grew up with it, hiding it.
So thank you. Lastly, I just wanted to thank Tamara Roselius. I don't know her all that well, but our kids went to school together, and regardless of whatever the issues might be, and I just want to thank her very much for her contributions over all those years. I mean, that's a great value. The gentleman before came up and willing to work on some of the technology things. I think that's maybe an opportunity to reach out to more people who are either retired or just have the wealth of experience to volunteer in very specific areas, not to get in your way, but just to be a resource. So.
Well, that's what I was thinking about with the dog park. You can run with it without even being on a committee and then just report to the committee every month with your findings.
Okay. And I just meant maybe from resources, if there's something maybe at the county you might know or something, so.
It's a good
If
phone call.
Bill's the point on that for now until whatever.
Thank you.
Tell me, okay, that's it, thank you.
Anyone else in the public like to hear it? Come on up.
Just a follow-up to the former gentleman, Montville does have a dog park, and I believe they were able to swap some property, so it may be something that he wants to look at. And they did fundraisers by selling the pavers for the dogs, and it was the Councilman Cook's wife, who happens to be my sister, so you know, I'm very familiar with it, and it was very, very successful, and it's very well used. So I would strongly support something like that.
All right, thank you. Okay, would anybody else in the public like to be heard? Come on up. Okay, hearing none, I'll close it to the public. Move on to the payment of the bills for April 20th, 2023. Everybody had an opportunity to look at it, question it, and now we're moving forward with the payment of bills. I need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All right, I got a first and I got a second. Roll call, please, Karen.
Councilman Yarborough?
Yes.
Councilman Harris?
Yes.
Councilman Brady?
Yes.
Councilman Russo?
Yes.
Councilman Carroll?
Yes.
Councilman Turner?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. We have the consent agenda, A through K. Some of them have already been authorized, but we'll just do them all together. Can we just still do them all?
I have a question. I'm confused with E. Resolution 04.05.23, appointing municipal attorney for calendar year. I thought that was done in another meeting.
Here was, our clerk, can you give us some information on E, why that's on here?
Because we didn't do a resolution when we did appoint him to make sure that everything was covered. It's his salary, how much he gets paid for the year, okay, and it has to be done in a resolution.
So we don't have a contract with him right now?
We had one when you appointed him, okay, it was in the letter form, and I'm just putting it into a resolution.
The letter form, I thought it had 2 options for
If
payment.
that one that has 2 options, it's not, no, it only had 1 option, that he gets paid $80 a year, and then if he has to do.
80,000.
80,000, I'm sorry, a year.
It's $80. Wow, what a bargain. Holy
And
mackerel.
then if he has to do any state tax appeals, like that, it's $150 per hour. That was in the letter. That's all that was in the letter. I just put it into a resolution.
So what did we pass in?
That's what you passed when you hired
So
him.
why are we doing it again?
Because I felt that it should be in a resolution. Because when we hired other attorneys like Ed Ruzak in the beginning, we had an agreement that was signed. It was a resolution that we did for him too.
Okay, so we have no agreement that was signed. Is that what you're saying?
It's in a letter form that was
A letter,
attached to his
but it wasn't a
resume.
signed contract, it was just a letter with a proposal.
But he was appointed by the council.
He was appointed by the council per the letter that what he was saying that he was going to charge us.
So this is basically a formality.
Basically, it's a formality. It's,
All right, I'd like to vote on this one separate because, as everybody knows, I was for retaining Ed Buzak for his 47 years of historical knowledge of Kinnelon. He's an expert in COA, he's an expert in islands, and he's an attorney for the New Jersey League of Municipalities. So I can't in good conscience have voted no in the past and vote yes in this one, so I'd like to have that
we
separated
can
out.
pull it out and vote on it separately.
Yes, that's what I request.
So the mayor will state that when we're all doing this.
All right, so instead of going A, B, C, and D, which we already did, we'll just go to Resolution 4.05.23, appointing municipal attorney for the calendar year of 2023, Mr. Brian Giblin Senior Esquire. I need a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
Second. I need a roll call, please.
Councilman Yago,
No.
Councilman Harris,
Yes.
Councilman Baby,
Yes.
Councilman Russo,
Yes.
Councilman Charles,
No.
and Councilman Sherdo.
Yes.
You have 4 yeses and 2 noes.
Thank you. Now we'll move on to resolutions G through K, which is resolution 4.06 down to raffle license for the Kinnelon Volunteer Fire Department. I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Yago,
Yes.
Councilman Harris,
Yes.
Councilman Baby,
Yes.
Councilman Russo,
Yes.
Councilman Charles.
Yes.
Councilman Sherdo.
Yes. That's okay.
Okay, our old business, we'll move on to ordinance number 4-23. Sure. Yes, we did it at our workshop.
They were memorialized at the workshop.
Okay, thank you, sorry.
An ordinance to amend chapter 207 zoning, article 2, definitions, article 5, supplementing, supplementary regulations, and article, Vince? Article 617, right? I'm getting better with these numbers. Senior residential zone of the Borough of Kinnelon, Morris County, New Jersey, to adopt revised zones and updates pursuant to the amended master plan. This ordinance was introduced at our last meeting held on March 16, 2023. The proper notice was published as required by law. A copy was posted on the municipal bulletin board, and additional copies were made available to the public. This meeting is now open to anyone who would like to speak on ordinance 4-23 from the public.
Tammy Roselius. A couple of questions related to this. I was at the March workshop and public meeting. And at the March workshop, we had the town planner, and she was discussing the various aspects of the 3 ordinances. At that time, there were 3 ordinances. Pardon me. So I have a few questions related to what happened at the workshop, what happened at the public meeting, as well as what's happening right now. At the workshop, there were 3 separate ordinances that were discussed, and then at the public meeting, they were combined into 1 ordinance. So there's a couple of things that had changed from the 3 separate ones to the 1, and I was just going to go through them. My first question is, why has Article 3, Zones and Zoning Map, been omitted from ordinance title? It was in the workshop ordinance 06-2023.
I asked the planner that question, and she said the reason we left out, she didn't do the map, was she didn't have it done yet, because there was discrepancies of the open space zones. being that in, like, for example, Smoke Rise has lots that are, we own it now as a town, but maybe it's a lot we want to sell, so it's not necessarily open space. So she said she said she didn't want to put the whole map together, because we haven't made those decisions yet. So she said to move forward with what we have, and then she will work on the rezoning map of open space. Whether or not we want to purchase the properties that are, you know, I know 4 in Smoke Rise that are borough owned, so we could maybe sell them, or we decide that they're open space. But she noticed it through her work, and so she says there's also state-owned, there's county-owned, town-owned, and she wanted to make sure she got everything.
I think we did discuss that, but that's not what I'm asking right now. So in our current zone, we have a thing called Article 2, and that's definitions. So in the title, it says we're going to be amending Article 2 definitions. The second one in our current ordinances is called Article 3, zones and zoning map. And in the 3 separate ordinances that were discussed at the workshop, Article 3, zones and zoning map was in there, but it's not in there now. So my question is, shouldn't we also be stating that we're doing Article 2 plus Article 3, zones and zoning map? That was the question. So I think that the title is omitting an aspect of our current zones. So my next question is on page 3 of the proposed ordinance. There were some changes. One is what you referred to, the land use map. The ordinance states that the land use map is attached to the ordinance, and it's not. And I think you're referring to the fact that there's issues related to open space. For the education of members in the audience and on Facebook, the planning board, when they updated their master plan, they recommended that the borough have a public open space zone so that we can show what properties have been preserved. The problem with that is this. The properties are owned by the state, the county, and the town. And when you start putting in regulations related to the separate owner open spaces, we don't have the jurisdiction to say what's going to happen on state land or the county land. But we can put in regulations related to borough land. And that is going to take time to do. And it's important to get this ordinance adopted now. So I think what we ended up doing is we pulled away what was decided at the workshop, that they're going to pull away the open space zone at this point, and they'll reevaluate that once the regulations related to the separately owned properties have been resolved. But I don't believe, if you look at this on page 3, we did remove the open space, the public lands open space zone. That's going to be addressed in the future. So I don't see why we can't have a land use map related to this specific ordinance right now, because we have removed the open space zone. So that's one thing. Another thing I should say. The second thing is there's a new senior residential zone that has been added. It was not part of the 3 separate zones that we looked at the workshop in March, and now it's added. In addition, paragraph D has been added. That was not part of the 3 ordinances that were reviewed in workshop with the planner. So those are just things that I have noticed that are different from the things that we reviewed in public in March, that are different to what was introduced in the March public meeting, and it's time to talk about it in public now. So my next question would be, is who changed the ordinance to make it from 3 separate ones to 1 combined one? Who did that? Was it Attorney Giblin?
The planner,
Okay, so
the planning board planner.
Okay. Who changed the ordinance to add the senior residential zone and the senior block and lot numbers?
I would say the planner.
Well, somebody had to direct her. It wasn't discussed in public meetings, so who directed her?
No one directed her.
So she did that on her own?
Yes. I'm making the assumption was it not on the first 3?
Yeah, I have them here.
Are you sure?
Because I remember seeing it, and I asked the planner, I don't have, I apologize,
I do.
I don't have my phone in front of me, or I'd
I remember.
be able to pull it up, because I did ask, and she did answer as to why it was kept in this.
I have a copy
Yeah.
of the 05-2023 ordinance that was discussed, and on page 3, it says, Article XBII, Senior Residential Zone shall be deleted in its entirety, including sections 20796 to 207-107. So that's what we looked at the public meeting when we discussed this. So somebody had to direct her.
Nobody corrected it.
Well, then-
It was an error on her part.
Was it an error to add it in, or was it an error that
It
was?
wasn't an error to add it in. It was, there's nothing what you're thinking happened there. It was a mistake by our planner.
So which was the mistake?
No, I guess that she added that in. I thought we had 7 residential zones. I remember you saying, don't we have 7 residential zones? So I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's our 7 zones that Tammy talked about at the last meeting.
Okay, so going back to that, okay. So in my opinion, the senior zone doesn't belong in there. We would have had 7 if there was the open space zone.
Well, I remember agreeing to eliminate the senior residential zone from a piece of property in Kinnelon, the Weber tract, that's now open space. That's all I remember. I don't ever remember talking about eliminating the actual senior residential zone. We have that in Kinnelon,
Where do we have it?
next to was it Kinnelon Ridge?
No, that's not a senior zone, that's an affordable housing zone.
In the Kinnelon, what's the other one, the Kinnelon Heights?
Kinnelon Heights and Kinnelon Ridge, the combination of those two was,
Well, that's right, that's why that didn't stick with
there's
55.
affordable housing in
Correct.
both the condos
Okay.
and the apartments.
No, it's a complete mistake. You can call Jessica tomorrow morning, first thing,
Well,
she'll tell you. But maybe, could be because we didn't write the map yet. I don't know.
Yes,
I
Tim-
really don't know. There's not, I'm gonna be honest. I
no,
don't
it's
know why
okay, this is why it's good to have a conversation.
Yeah, if I'm allowed, Tammy,
Sure.
maybe, so on March 16th, I did email, and I put 7 zones were listed, including a residential, senior residential zone. I believe the zone was removed in the reexamination of the master plan, and her response was, because of the delayed adoption of the public lands open space zone, we didn't delete this zone yet. I said the map that was included also lists a senior residential zone, but I believe the correct zone should be public lands open space zone. And her response was, we did not, when we adopt the public open space zone, the senior zone will be deleted and replaced. So my understanding was, in her opinion, it's here, but it will be deleted based on her recommendations.
Okay. That makes sense.
So
But
I
it was
don't
just
think- yeah.
confusing because we went through this in full detail at the March workshop, and then we got this thing combined, and then there's things that are on the combined one that weren't discussed in the other one.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I think it's all,
Okay.
to the mayor's point, nobody did anything deceitful. We're just going off of what our planner, our professionals are advising us to
Okay.
do.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense, okay.
So Tammy, so for section,
Wait, if I can, I think this will be clear once, with what you said
Yeah,
and what I'm gonna recommend, I think is gonna be identical. But I just wanna say a few things about the changes, and this is clear for everybody. In the new ordinance that we just got, the one that we will be adopting tonight, I believe, which is 04, so many of these things.
23.
0423.
Yeah, I just have to get the right one. Here it is. Okay. So when you look at page 3 of 04-2023, it does have the senior residential zone, which will be removed, as well as paragraph D. And just to give you a little bit of information for the people up there, is that in D, it talks about lots 16801 and of block 11, and there's like 7 of different lots in that block. Those are the old lot and block numbers for the Borough of Kinnelon. Kinnelon updated they're required by the state to update all of their lot and blocks. So these numbers are all wrong. A lot of when the property was acquired, or I should say purchased, by the county and the state, a lot of the individual lots that are referred to here became merged because it was a common owner. So when you go look at the new lot and blocks, these lots are no longer around. So that the whole paragraph has to be deleted as well.
Correct, yeah, I believe when she addresses the senior zone, well, that D will be, and maybe that's why they're the old block and lots,
I
because
think it was just
of
pulled out of the
procedural.
old
Yeah,
ordinance,
yeah.
yeah, that's correct. Okay, so my recommendation would be to the council is to adopt this, this ordinance as is, even though it may not be perfect. We are in the middle of litigation, and it's important that we adopt it quickly. So my recommendation would be when we do end up putting in the public lands open space zone, and we take a look at the regulations that apply to the state, the county, and the town, that is when you remove the senior residential zone in that paragraph with the outdated lots and blocks.
Should we remove it now?
You can't, because you introduced it as this.
Can't delay this another month?
I think we need to go based on the recommendation of our planner.
Well, in addition to that.
What's wrong?
Well, but in addition to that, there's a court case that's pending,
Yeah.
and the next hearing before the judge is later on this month.
For the
So-
sign,
I'm sorry.
for the sign.
But that's what this ordinance does.
It's all part of the same ordinance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
So I think we have a time constraint here where we need to move forward with this. But as long as you're willing to, you know, correct it in the future, in the not too distant future, I think that this.
Yeah, because we got the county park listed here, we got the Weber track, we got our property, I mean, state property. That's not senior housing.
No, it's not. It's,
We really shouldn't have that listed as senior housing.
but we don't have the time to
Jessica
introduce.
Colwell is aware of all of this, and she said she's
Okay.
ready to fix it.
Okay. And if she would like some assistance, I was so involved in it at the master plan, I'd be helping. I know all those lot and blocks intimately. I'd be willing to help her. Good, thank you. It's good to know that you were already aware of the situation. I appreciate that. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Jen.
Anyone else from the public like to be heard? Okay, hearing none, this ordinance was introduced, this meeting is now closed to the public and bring it back to the dais. Does anyone on the council wish to speak at this time?
Yes, I would, Mayor. Just to step back what we just discussed, can we make sure that these changes are made?
Yes.
Please?
Yep.
I don't think the county and the state would be very happy to see their land designated as senior housing. God forbid something should happen, that we go into litigation. Again, I appreciate this, that we be sure we cover everybody.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, I need a motion to adopt ordinance 4-23.
Take a motion?
Second?
Okay, I need a roll call, please.
Councilman Yago?
Yes.
Councilman Harris?
Yes.
Councilman Maybe?
Yes.
Councilman Russo?
Yes.
Councilman Charles?
Yes.
Councilman Trudeau?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Now we're moving on to ordinance 5-2023, an ordinance amending chapter 156 of the Borough Code. It's titled Public Property Use of, by repealing and replacing 156-21 titled Marijuana with a new 156-21 to be titled Marijuana, and adding a new 156-25 to be titled Cannabis. I need a motion to introduce.
So moved?
A second. Thank you. Roll call.
Councilman Yago?
Yes.
Councilman Harris?
Yes.
Councilman Maybe?
Yes.
Councilman Russo?
Yes.
Councilman Charles?
Yes.
Councilman Trudeau?
Yes.
Thank you, gentlemen. Be it further resolved, the Borough Clerk of this borough is hereby directed to publish proper notice thereof. Ordinance number 6-2022, an ordinance adding a new chapter 147 titled Peace and Good Order to the Borough of Kinnelon Code. I need a motion to introduce.
So moved?
Second?
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone against? All right, thank you. Whereas the... I was trying to get people out of here. Motion to introduce. We have a first and a second. Did you get those? Okay, roll call, please.
Councilman Yago?
Yes.
Councilman Harris?
Yes.
Councilman Maybe?
Yes.
Councilman Russo?
Yes.
Councilman Charles?
Yes.
Councilman Trudeau?
Yes.
Thank you, gentlemen. Whereas the above ordinance was introduced at this meeting held on April 20th, 2023, and read by title and passed on first reading. Now therefore be resolved that at the regular meeting to be held on May 18, 2023 at 7 p.m. prevailing time at the Kinnelon Municipal Building. This council further consider for second reading and final passage of the said ordinance. Be it further resolved, the Borough Clerk of this borough is hereby directed to publish proper notice thereof. Okay, we're moving on to ordinance number 7-2023. An ordinance repealing and replacing chapter 110 of the Borough of Kinnelon Code titled Dogs and Other Animals. I need a motion to introduce.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I need a roll call, please.
Councilman Yaga?
Yes.
Councilman Harris?
Yes.
Councilman Maybe?
Yes.
Councilman Russo?
Yes.
Councilman Charles?
Yes.
Councilman Churdo?
Yes.
On behalf of the dogs and animals, thank you. Whereas the above ordinance was introduced to this meeting held on April 20th and read by title and passed on first reading, now therefore be resolved at the regular meeting to be held on May 18, 2023 at 7 p.m. prevailing time and at the Kinnelon Municipal Building. This council will further consider for second reading and final passage of the said ordinance. Be further resolved that, I keep messing that up, that the Borough Clerk of this borough is hereby directed to publish proper notice thereof.
You're doing good.
No,
You're ripping.
my voice was water. Ordinance number 8-2023, an ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and establish a cap bank calendar year 2023. I need a motion to introduce.
So moved.
Second. Roll call, please. Wait,
Mayor,
hold on.
let me just state
Before we
something
move on.
interesting. With this budget that we're going to be introducing in our next ordinance, we approve, every year we approve this ordinance, which is an excellent ordinance because this year, in order to go over the appropriation cap, we had to cap bank a certain amount of money. Well, we were over, because of the garbage, we were over $273,000. We cap banked $276,000. Call it luck, call it skill, I'll call it skill.
That's why we hired you.
Thank you. So,
Great job.
This is exactly why we do this.
Yeah. Thank you, Sean. It really, it's great all the years, you're getting better and better at this budget, so thank you. So I need a roll call of the, you got the first and second, okay, a roll call, please.
Councilman Yaga?
Yes.
Councilman Harris?
Yes.
Councilman Maybe?
Yes.
Councilman Russo?
Yes.
Councilman Charles?
Yes.
Councilman Churdo?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Whereas the above ordinance was introduced at this meeting held on April 20, 2023, and read by title and passed on first reading, now therefore be resolved that at the regular meeting on May 18, 2023 at 7 p.m. prevailing time at the Kinnelon Municipal Building, the council will further consider for second reading and final passage of the said ordinance. Be it further resolved that the Borough Clerk of the Borough is hereby directed to publish proper notice thereof.
One more.
One more. Okay, next one is a resolution 4.09-23 of the governing body of the Borough of Kinnelon, an introduction of the 2023 budget. I need a motion to approve.
Make a motion?
Second.
I need a roll call, please.
Councilman Yaga?
Yes.
Councilman Harris?
Yes.
Councilman Maybe?
Yes.
Councilman Russo?
Yes.
Councilman Charles?
Yes.
Councilman Churdo?
Yes.
Gentlemen, great work on the budget, thank you. And we're moving on to tax collector's report.
During the month of March 2000. During the month of March 2023, the tax collector's office processed a total of $340,740.25. Investment, a total of $38,375.53 was earned in interest for the month of March 2023.
Thank you, Karen. I need a motion to approve the district school payment of $3,321,495.67.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilman Yaga?
Yes.
Councilman Harris?
Yes.
Councilman Maybe?
Yes.
Councilman Russo?
Yes.
Councilman Charles?
Yes.
Councilman Churdo?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Before we go to our adjournment, I'd like to mention our camera girl, Devin. Have you picked a college yet?
Yeah, UGA.
All right, go dogs. All right, well, best of luck, and thank you for your help that you've been giving us, and we really appreciate it. Go dogs.
You going down for summer intern program?
No, I don't think so.
My daughter graduated UGA.
Oh, really?
Good.
Both degrees.
Have fun. Good football games.
Yeah.
Great football.
Mayor, is it appropriate also to say that Devin was the co-president of Turkeys for You, and this year they raised over $14,000 to feed the homeless?
Wow, Devin. Not bad, Devin, for behind the camera. You're doing all right. Well, thank you, Devin, for everything. And you're not leaving till summer, right?
Not leaving.
I asked her if she would mind, it was only take like a half hour per night on Thursday night to go through these meetings, and that was a.
You're in and out.
Yeah, so, so last thing, don't forget April 30th, pancakes, and I need a Glenn Cisco motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Gentlemen, we're out of here, go Colts.